Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Gio and I'm here for the match preview of Fiorentina versus Milan that will be played at the Artemio Franchi this Monday at 7 p.m. local time. It's quite unusual to see a match on a Monday, but this is due to Fiorentina playing in the Europa League during the week. Therefore, they had to postpone their match. And of course, we haven't made any videos during the week. Of course, we're still boycotting the team and in general. But of course, we'll always have the match previews, reviews, and fan reactions for you guys with the occasional major updates video. Without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to once again Adamo Ritako, because today we will be talking together about the match, of course. And just to get things started, Adamo, we're playing a Fiorentina side which I think we could argue is one of the teams that's most informed right now in the Serie A. I think they only had a little stumble there against Lazio where they lost 4-0, but I don't think that's an overall representation of their recent times of their season in total. What did you make of Fiorentina in these past few weeks and really their push for the Europa League positions? And who knows, if they actually start a winning streak, they could even go for the Champions League themselves.
Well, as you said, the only stumble they really had upon the road was against Lazio, and they lost 4-0, which was pretty shocking because it's odd that a team like Fiorentina is so organized by a great coach, Montella, who's 4-0 to Lazio. All respect to Lazio, they're one of the best sides in the Serie A right now. But besides that, Fiorentina have been one of the best teams, arguably, in the Serie A. Even in Europe, they're doing very, very well. Hopefully, they make it through to the next round of the Europa League. Maybe they can even win the competition. You never know. It's always possible. They can get Champions League through that door, or maybe they can push for third place. Both ways are very, very possible. Definitely going to be a very hard fixture for Milan. Fiorentina, as I said, much more organized of a team. You know, they do have some issues in defense with their fullbacks and how they kind of defend, but besides that, they're pretty solid as a team. Got to watch out for Salah as well, because he's been on intense form. I don't know how this guy has been scoring so many goals, but ever since coming from Chelsea, he's been completely on fire. It's a Quadrado didn't even exist. But overall, it's going to be a very, very tough game, and Milan better be on the toes.
Yeah, well said. And really, you have to give much praise to Fiorentina because it's a team that's battling on all fronts. The Serie A, the Coppa Italia, where they've beaten Juventus as well, and they could possibly be on their way to the finals in that competition. Then they have the Europa League, which they could obviously easily make it to the quarters if they have a good game against Roma once again in the second leg. But as Adamo mentioned, it's going to be a very tough game for a team that's very disorganized like Milan to play against a team that organization is probably their forte. And really, Montella has done such a tremendous job at Fiorentina, and there's no surprise and no coincidence why he's getting so many reports as to why it could be a good replacement for Inzaghi, for Milan, and for other teams in general. So it's obvious that if you're doing good, people are going to be talking good about you, and that is the exact case about Fiorentina and Montella. But now let's move on to Milan because, of course, Milan has been disappointing to say the very least. Lack of ideas, lackluster altogether all season round, and they just can't seem to get a break. And that is the exact issue I want to be talking to you about, Adamo, because really there's been so many rumors once again during the week with the coaches that might replace Inzaghi. Of course, we got the Empoli coach that is the hottest name right now to replace Inzaghi. Of course, he's been having a tremendous season with Empoli. He's done a tremendous job with them. Of course, they were supposed to be relegated this season. Instead, they've been doing a very good job and picking up points from very strong oppositions. But do you think Inzaghi could still give a bit of hope to this team? Maybe spark under their ass, I don't know, something just to make them push for these wins. Like we've seen against strong oppositions this season, we've seen them perform quite well against Napoli, Roma, before the whole fiasco really started in January. Do you think Milan can actually come out with something this match, or is Fiorentina just way too strong for them?
Well, as usual, it's possible, but it's very, very unlikely with Milan. It's a very difficult situation because I think the players are starting to lose hope themselves. Even if I don't even know if they had in the first place because of the way that they performed. But even if they did, they're losing their hope, as I said, because the season's getting later on. They're pretty much playing for nothing at this point if they don't really string together 4 or 5 wins in a row. Because even Europa League will be practically impossible to get. So overall, it's just a very, very difficult situation for Milan. Hopefully, they can get out of it, and if they don't, I hope and pray like bad goes to worst. I don't know what will happen, but I hope and pray that the youth players will be played, because if we're not going to make Europe, there's really no point. Like, no matter where we finish on the table, it won't make any difference. So if we make 8th place or if we make 12th place, there's no difference. So you might as well give the youth players a chance and for them to really adapt to the Serie A, and maybe you'll find a gem in there. Maybe you can value off their potential. Maybe you could sell them later on in a couple of years. But that experience will be crucial for them for half a season to play for a club like AC Milan if we do end up falling out and pretty much ditching the dream of Europe.
Very well said there. And of course, teams are just getting ahead of us. They're obviously winning their games. They're moving on top of the standings while we're still in the same position. And as Inzaghi stresses that we need to improve, it's 26 games in, 27th against Fiorentina. You got more than 2/3 of the season gone through. What is there to improve, guys? Honestly, I don't know what to make of this team anymore, but let's hope, at least in this final stretch, that we see some positive for Milan, and pray to God that maybe somehow we could reach those European positions, which I still highly doubt. And I do think that if we do make it somehow to the Europa, it will be fully deserved, because there's teams up there that definitely deserve it, and there's so many more teams that have better seasons than Milan that deserve it way better than us. But obviously, miracles do happen, and we'll see what happens with that. Without further ado, though, let's take a look at the probable lineups, guys, because, of course, for the 27th time in a row, 27th time this season, it seems as if Inzaghi will go once again with another formation. So let's take a look at it, and let's take a look at this weekend's lineup. Let's start off here with Milan, of course, because Diego Lopez expected to start in net. Back four made up of Abate, which finally is supposed to come back. Paletta, Mexes as the center backs, Antonelli on the left. Midfield, once again, a big issue, as we could see. Bangin, Cole on the right. Etienne in the middle, a.k.a. the non-movable player. And Bonaventura on the left. Now, Bonaventura has been preferred as a trequartista in recent weeks. However, it seems that Inzaghi will finally opt in for Onda as a trequartista, a position where he definitely plays his best, and Destro Menez up front as the forwards. As for Fiorentina, Salah isn't expected to start, which is quite surprising to me, but it might be under some conditions for his loan deal. And also Babacar isn't expected to start, and they're both supposed to start from the bench, while Montella could be opting in for Gilardino up front, Diamanti, Ilicic, and of course other players in the back four, where Adamo did mention they do have some problems, and if they could become a very top team, a superior team to others, they will have to fix those defensive problems and maybe even some midfield problems as a whole. Now, Adamo, of course, we saw the lineup. Do you think this is a good enough lineup for Milan? Do you think, of course, once again, with the change of lineups, with the change of names, do you think there could be some consistency coming out of nowhere? Or you think it's just going to be one of those matches where luck may go by your side? You might come out with some lucky goals, but once again, we're going to see a very boring playing for Milan altogether, with no ideas, and altogether nothing.
Well, on paper, the team definitely looks like it can definitely go up against a side like Fiorentina. But the sad thing is, you look at Gilardino, Diamanti, and Ilicic, and you think, on form, that looks much better than Destro, Menez, and Honda, which is very, very odd because Destro is rated as one of the top Italian strikers. Menez has been scoring goals, whether it's penalties or not, and we all know Honda, and everybody wants him as a trequartista. But overall, if you look at Fiorentina's lineup, it seems much more menacing due to their last couple performances. And when you look at Milan's last couple performances, it's obviously showing that something's not clicking, and maybe something needs to be changed. I don't know, maybe Honda, the trequartista role is what we need, somebody to link up the midfield and the attack. So hopefully something can work out. I definitely think it's possible to beat a side like Fiorentina with their defensive problems. but the attack is going to have to be on point because we all know our midfield is practically garbage at 99% of the time. So the attack is going to have to do practically all the work and just score as many goals as they can. Maybe kind of like a high-scoring match could be 4-3, maybe 3-2, due to Milan possibly going all out on attack, which is something they might as well do because their defense isn't really performing that well. The midfield has kind of been like on and off, and the attack is pretty much nothing. So hopefully the attack works something together, and Destro can get a couple goals in. I'm just praying that Milan get at least a draw versus Fiorentina because they're a very, very tough side.
Yeah, we definitely need to be perfect in this kind of match. As you mentioned, Adamo, we need to score as many goals as possible. Coming from who, I don't care, as long as the ball ends up in the back of the net, because we have just so many defensive problems that we're going to concede goals no matter what, really. Like we saw last week against Hellas Verona, where we were just seconds away from a win, and we absolutely blew it out of nowhere. So we're going to concede goals, definitely. So our objective is to score as many goals as possible, and at the end of the day, have one more goal than the opposing side, because that is really what it's going to come down to for this Milan side. There's no hope in defending to perfection and scoring that one or two goal that will seal the deal. This team is just made up of so many improbabilities that you just have to expect the unexpected, really, and anything could just happen. Guys, let me know in the comments section what you think the prediction will be for this game. Are you okay with this lineup? Do you think Milan could possibly salvage a point from this encounter against a very strong, informed Fiorentina? Well, let us know in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to Rossoneri TV to stay updated with everything AC Milan. And of course, we'll see you on Monday for the match review, aka discussion, the pre-match, and so forth. So make sure to stay tuned to the channel. And yeah, thank you for watching. This has been Gio and Adamo signing off from Rossoneri TV. And as usual, Forza Milan!